What's really going on, America? You got people running around tearing down statues. You got folk talking about, oh, we're about to go down and have us another rally because we're going to protect our rights. We're going to keep statues up. And you got other folks saying, I want the statues down. You got the Democrats running around talking reckless, talking about all of this hate going on in America and this hate speech. It needs to stop. And you know what we need to do? We need to start really considering censoring hate speech. But yet, what is hate speech? Who gets the right to determine what speech is hateful and what's not? Is the plan and the goal really to address hate speech that hurts people's feelings and make them sad on the inside? Or is it something greater? Or is America getting set up, even as we speak, by the Democrats, the liberal movement, the liberal media? What's in it for them? What is it about the way they have portrayed and projected an image in America to make us think that all of a sudden racism has come back in full effect? I'm talking about it is on the rise to the point where I might be walking around and just get snatched up and lynched. Or I go into Walmart, go to take a swig of water, and they're like, what you doing, boy? You don't be drinking in our faucet. You better get on over. Yeah, go on now. Yeah. They are playing political and social games right now as we speak for a reason. The key is to make something that isn't a problem look like a problem. They are gaslighting America, and most of America is falling for it. If you control the media, who is on your side and has the same goals and objectives of the Democrats and the liberals, you got a powerful tool to convince the masses that something is going on that really isn't going on. I used to always hear people say, look, man, don't make it a problem unless it's a problem. And this whole situation right now down in Virginia, they trying to make that seem like this is a national epidemic. All of a sudden, all the progress that America has made when it comes to social justice has now just dismembered. It has gone 50, 60 years back, and it all revolves around little things in our society, like statues up that represent racism. Like all the 50 and 60 and 70, 80 years these statues been up and more. All of a sudden now they are a huge problem. And this is going to solve some of the racial tension in America. Get you distracted. Don't make you look at serious stuff. Take your attention and focus on a lot of issues that the media gives so much attention to, and the Democrats will blow up and inflate to make it seem like this is a problem, y'all. We got to divert our attention to this. Now, what's really behind it? You always have to ask yourself, what's behind all of this? Do my eyes really see what they see? Perfect example. Gaslighting, I said in another video, makes people question logic. Makes them question things that they go, my eyes and ears see this and my brain is telling me. That makes sense. But for some reason, because I hear everybody else saying that's crazy, now I'm starting to wonder, is that crazy? Like, for example, heard a guy on CNN, the fake news network, brought some guy on there. You know how they do it. This is psychological. I'm hipping you to what they're doing. Psychologically, they bring the guy on, and CNN will bring like 5 people on a panel, all hate Donald Trump, and one person that is trying to defend him. Now, subconsciously, you seeing 5 people attack this dude. Man, you crazy. I can't believe it. And they trying to defend themselves. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And what ends up happening subconsciously, you going, wow, I guess everybody has the opinion of all of these 5 people because it sounds like they're speaking for everybody in the world. And then you got this poor soul trying to defend Donald Trump. And even though what they're saying makes sense, subconsciously, you're going, I don't want to be that person that's getting beat up by all the other people attacking them. So maybe they got a point, even though it don't make any sense. For example, the guy's talking about Donald Trump is anti-Semitic. the person was like, how can he be down anti-Semitic? His wife, his daughter and his son-in-law are Jewish. So what? Just basically pivoted. So what? That means nothing. Then I said to myself, wait a minute. How could Donald Trump be anti-Semitic? And yet he was the biggest proponent for rebuilding our relationship with Israel. Things like that don't make sense. But yet they will try to make you believe that it makes sense. Right now, truth has become the latest hate speech. What do I mean? They are attacking not Donald Trump, but they're attacking what he represents. What Donald Trump represents is something outside of the system that they put in place for years to control the minds of the people. He is a free thinker. He is an independent that cannot be controlled by the system. He doesn't play by any of their rules, and he says what he wants to say. He doesn't check in with the Democrats and the Republicans and the media to say, how should I say this? What y'all want me to say? I want to say it just right to make sure ain't nobody gonna be hurting on the inside. What you want me to say? He don't do that. Donald Trump says exactly what he says. He sees it and he calls it like it is, even if people don't like it. For example, if you look at the video and you look at the people that was sent down there, Antifa, who's been tearing stuff up for months, go down to Virginia with riot gear on, helmets, baseball bats. One dude had a blowtorch, and you telling me he came for peace? How you get a blowtorch, man? But yet, when Donald Trump tries to say, hold up, yeah, I'm not supporting the Nazis. I'm not supporting the KKK. They are bad. But don't act like there wasn't another group that contributed to this. And the media goes crazy. The liberals go crazy because what they do is they take an opportunity to say, how can we now attack freedom of speech? Why is freedom of speech being attacked? Because the only thing that can fight a lie is truth. That is why I said truth is now the new hate speech. Donald Trump said the truth and they hated it. And they did it and they convinced a lot of people that what he said was evil and wicked. But yet it was the truth. I'm black and I saw through that. It wasn't about black and white. It wasn't about racism. It was about ideology. It was about the liberals and the conservative, far extremes on both sides, liberals and conservatives. Okay, that's what it was about. And the idea that everything that the liberals say has weight, we have to embrace it. Anything that opposes the liberal views must be attacked and deemed as hate speech. So therefore, when Donald Trump cannot be controlled and he thinks freely, and he has caused this effect in America to where a lot of other Americans start going, he said stuff that I was looking at for years going, that makes sense. But I was afraid to say that because I would get attacked. And that's where the movement started. It woke up people to start saying, man, I'm not going to think based off of what the politicians say I should think or what the liberal media say I should say or think. I'm going to be a free thinker and a free voter. Even if I don't say it in public, I'm going to go down to the polls and hit that button and say Donald Trump. And it just drove them crazy. You know why? Because for the first time, individual people, first time they realized that all these years of us manipulating the public, playing partisan politics, playing the race card, getting into people's emotions, making a lot of minorities think that we're the liberal party and we're for you. We wear the white hats. All of the lies, all of a sudden was being combated by people online speaking the truth, exposing all of their false narratives, exposing all of their motives and their deceit and their real ideas and views and all of these secret back channel deals that Hillary and everybody else was making, and it messed them up. You know what it was like? It was like that guy who's hollering at a girl. Hey, baby, how you doing? You know what? Look, I'm trying to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I will be what you need me to be. And somebody comes along and says, hey, don't listen to this dude. This dude's lying to you. And the guy gets mad, even though it's the truth. Hey, man, stop. Don't tell her that. You messing me up. You messing up my game. They were mad not because that what the person said was a lie. It actually was the truth, but it just messed up their game. So what's going on right now with the Democrats and the liberal media is Donald Trump is killing the media with truth. He exposed that they're the fake media. He exposed the Democrats and their hypocrisy and all of their deceit. He hitting them with that. And then a whole bunch of people who voted for him are doing the same thing. The movement saying, look, man, you ain't going to silence us. Even though the internet's trying to do it, Google, YouTube, everybody else is trying to suppress the truth and push all of these false narratives, people exposing it, and it's driving people crazy. So people think right now that the Second Amendment is their weapon. And, oh, I ain't going to let nobody take my Second Amendment rights away. I'm going to have my gun. But the real weapon is the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. That exposes lies. Now, if they could take that weapon away, we're done. And people don't even see it. They're going to do it so smoothly because what they're doing is they setting up the gullible, blinded Americans to run around chasing down all these little stupid fires and social issues that aren't real issues. And they deeming all this stuff as only reason this is happening in America is because of Donald Trump and his evilness. And he's speaking all this hate stuff and everybody else is hating. And when they say anything about stuff they don't like and it hurts my feelings, it's hate speech. And now you got all these politicians running around proposing censorship on speech. But yet, who determines what can be spoken and what's not? America's getting set up under the false pretense of political correctness, acceptance, tolerance, and thinking they're fighting for some just cause. And they're going to willfully surrender their freedom of speech. All the Democrats are doing, all the liberal media are doing is they're exploiting this social issue down in Virginia, which is an isolated incident. It ain't like this is a spread across America. It was like 200 Nazis and whatever else came down there. It wasn't even there. If you would have watched the video, you would have thought 5 million people was down there. They want to create the perception that all of America is divided right down to half. You got anybody who voted for Donald Trump, they got to be a racist. All the media. And if you voted for him, you are a supporter of him, you got to be a racist. I'm black. I ain't no racist. A whole bunch of other black folks that voted for Donald Trump aren't racist. They smart, free thinkers, but they ain't no racist. And yet they want us to believe that this is an epidemic. So they'll force Donald Trump out of the office because guess what? He speaks the truth. Truth exposes lies. And what does that do? Mess up their game. Don't be saying that, man. You messing up my game. We've been pimping black people for years, man. Telling them all kind of stuff. Whispering their ear. Baby, let me tell you something. You want that welfare? You want that government check? I got you. Yeah, you know what? The white man has been oppressing. You know what else? Those evil, wicked Republicans, they don't care nothing about you. They don't care about themselves. They're trying to fill their own pockets. They don't want to help you out. Yeah, man, they just want to handicap you and keep you running back to the polls, believing in them. And soon as you vote, they go off and say, okay, let's go on about business as usual. And that is what they're doing. They don't want that system messed up. Donald Trump's blowing it to pieces and folk don't even see it. And because they can't fight him, they're cheating by creating false narratives. They're doing something that I used to do when I hunt. They're brainwashed. They're setting you up. You know what it's like? It's like catching a rabbit. When I would go hunting, I would say, you know what? I'm going to catch this rabbit. Send the dog out for the rabbit. Rabbit is focused on the dog. Rabbit runs in a big figure 8 thinking that it's getting away from the dog. It's focused on the dog. It don't see the hunter standing back there with the shotgun like, yeah, come on back around so I can blow you up. And while they got folks running around all over America focused on social issues that aren't problems, but they trying to make it seem like it's a big problem. We got to fight this. We look, think about this. Donald Trump has not taken anybody's rights away. When he got elected, oh my God, he about to roll back everything. He's sending people back to Africa, man. You ain't gonna be to do nothing, man. He gonna be snatching Muslims up and killing them and man, all of that stuff. Nothing has happened. And yet, They still got people running around thinking that. Oh, last week, he's a warmonger. He's about to get us all blown up. His rhetoric is crazy and dangerous. But yet, the North Korean president got punked and finally was like, man, this dude mean business. I'm not firing off nothing. Yeah. Oh, Donald Trump's about to just send all the Mexicans back and this and that. And immigration has gone down. And yet they're getting all of these violent criminals out of the country. All of that stuff. Jobs are coming back. Economy's booming. All of that stuff. Media's going, Don't let them see that. Show them some other stuff. Show them the other stuff. The stuff we made up. Yeah. Like Donald Trump all of a sudden now is a Russian agent. 1 week. Next week, he's a Nazi, KKK, white nationalist. Last week, he's a warmonger. You know, anything they can come up with, throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. And gullible people eat it all up. And what they're really going after is our freedom of speech. Because every time they run for election and they come out with the propaganda and the garbage and the false narratives, and now all these individuals have risen up and start, that's bull crap, that's debunked, that's this and that. It frustrates them, and they say, I see what the real problem. What's really messing up our game is our ability to manipulate them because they're coming out with the truth to combat our lives. Now, what they're eventually going to do is say, how can we choke out the truth and deem it as hate speech? Okay? It's the same tactic they did with the Jews and Nazis. They said, look, why don't you, we're the government. We're here looking out for you. I want you guys to come down and just surrender your guns peacefully because we're looking out for you. We just want to make sure everything's okay. And they willfully did it. And right now they're making us think we're for America. We're for our society. We're for justice. We're for the American people to have inclusion. We want everybody to feel welcome. And all of these conservatives and Republicans and Donald Trump is behind it all. He's preaching his hate speech and we need to silence this stuff. Now, if they can do that, if they can get us to a point where anything that goes against their liberal views is deemed as hate speech, they have taken our greatest weapon away. Now, it gives them the green light to attack us viciously. Not Nazis, not white supremacists or KKKs. I'm talking the church. I'm talking anybody who disagrees with personal stuff that you should only keep in your house, like homosexuality or transgenderism or any of the social issues that the liberals are pushing. All of a sudden now you would disagree with that and they'll go, hate speech, get them. And yet all of these people thinking they're fighting for a great cause are about to willfully surrender their hate speech, their freedom of speech. So the Democrats, the liberals, the fake news, all of them, all they're doing is getting people to focus on non-tangible issues like feelings, opinions, acceptance, inclusion, all of that stuff. Nah, don't focus on the tangible stuff like jobs, like schools, like infrastructure, like stuff you can actually say this is going to benefit my life. No, don't focus on that. Focus on statues. Focus on things like that. Focus on Donald Trump's mean words. That's what you should focus on. So then, while the Liberal Party wants to simply disarm your freedom of speech, that's all it comes down to. Because free speech is the weapon that destroys false propaganda. It destroys political manipulation. It destroys the Liberal Party. Think about this. If it wasn't from our ability to have freedom of speech, during this election, the Liberal Party and the fake media would have ran rampant with lies, propaganda, and manipulation, and they would have won the election. But everybody rallied and said, let's combat all of this garbage with exposing their real motives and the truth. And it drove them nuts. They said, we got to do something about this, especially coming around. Donald Trump's election has surfaced up what's really going on underneath the swamp. He has brought it to the top and they can't even hide it. It's like, man, he is exposing us. We butt naked. And everybody sees the Liberal Party and the liberal movement for what it really is. It is nothing more than partisan politics, trying to stay in power, making false promises, and using the whole race card all the time. That's what they go to. Always touching on the emotions. You know why they do that? because they have no real substance. Here's the big lie. This is the truth. Let me touch everybody's emotions. Let me get them focused on all of the emotional stuff in society. Social issues. You know why? Because we don't have real substance. We don't want y'all to even look at that stuff. We want you to think about your rights. We want you to think about oppression. We want you to think about people's opinions of you and your personal lifestyle and how they might disagree with it. And how could they do that? They're hurting your feelings. They don't have the right. But forget about schools, education, jobs, infrastructure, safety in America. Forget about that stuff. I want you to focus on the stuff that's all in your mind and in your feelings, because we don't really have any substance to give you. And when people expose that truth, they're like, hey, man, hey, stop exposing our false promises. Be quiet. You know what we got to do? Since we've been using all of this racial stuff for years, all of these fake social issues that we just create, make everybody think it's an epidemic, we gotta get these people riled up real quick. Let's try to make it seem like Donald Trump is the Antichrist or something, even though really he's the biggest advocate for freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and looking out for our own people. But let's twist that. Let's make people think he's this evil dictator and he's up to something. Get the people to just buck up against him so they can embrace our lives again, so we can continue to give them the false promises, thinking that they're receiving all this liberty and freedom while we just choke out the truth. We don't want them saying anything that goes against our liberal views, because when they do, we can pass some legislation that at some point will totally attack the conservative views, the conservative party, because the conservative, we've already brainwashed most of society to think that they're evil, wicked, selfish anyway. Now, if we can start connecting hate speech to anything that is viewed conservative, now we got them. Anything they say during an election, that's hate speech. But let me tell you something. If you fall for this garbage and you that liberal, you that blind to not see what they're doing, it will come back to bite you. See, it's all fun and games when, you think you're fighting for a cause that's going to help you. But when the next rapper grab the mic and be like, man, I'ma kill me and blink and they go, hey, speech. Hey, man, you messing with my money. I'm trying to bust rhymes. And they're like, hey, speech. When a comedian gets up there and he's like, so these 3 gay guys came into a club last night and this one guy, what? Hate speech. Hate speech. Yeah. When you go to the movies and the movie don't quite fit your warm, fuzzy feelings, then it's hate speech. Shut them down. It will come back to bite all of those running around, tearing down statues and all of that stuff, while the liberals just sit back, while the Democrats sit back, while the liberal media create all these overdramatic false narratives so that people will get so afraid and don't focus on real issues. And at some point, they're trying to slide it in. Yes, you know what? Maybe we should start looking into really censoring what people say. Where does that stop? Don't be fooled. Keep speaking the truth, because right about now, truth is considered hate speech. Think about that.